Shalom Aleichem to everybody. Parshas Vayeitzei is the parsha of Yaakov's wandering, Yaakov's travels, running from his brother Esav, who wants to kill him and to murder him for being the recipient of the brachos. Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Beersheva vayelech Charana. And along the way we meet Yaakov Avinu at a well, and there are shepherds who are simply hanging around and not tending to the flock and to the sheep. And Yaakov Avinu questions and almost chastises them, wondering why are they not taking care of their responsibilities? Why are they not tending to their sheep? And they explain to Yaakov that there's an even gedola me'al pia be'er, there's a very large stone on top of the well that they're unable to move. Vayigash Yaakov approaches the well. Vayogel es ha'even me'al pia be'er, and Yaakov Avinu removes this rock from on top of the well, something that multiple shepherds were unable to do. And Rashi, commenting on the pasuk, says, Ke Adam shemavir es ha'pekak me'al gabei tzeluches, that Yaakov removed it so easy, just as easily as it takes us to remove a cap from on top of a soda bottle. Milamed, this teaches us, shekocho gadol, that Yaakov Avinu was very strong, very mighty. And we must ask the question, really? Shekocho gadol, Yaakov was so strong? And furthermore, is that what the pasuk is coming to teach me? Is that what we're supposed to learn from this story, from this pasuk? What's Rashi telling us? Shekocho gadol. It was so easy for Yaakov to remove this stone. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz in Sichos Musar, and he says this in 3 different places in Sichos Musar. Take a look in Taf Shin Lamed Aleph, Parshas B'Shalach, a mimer called Yichad Leiv. And Reb Chaim explains that Yaakov Avinu is teaching us a lesson for the ages. And if somebody wants to accomplish something and get something done, I could be weak, I could be poor, I could be downtrodden, I could be beaten. But if I want to get it done, I can get it done. Shekocho gadol. The shepherds couldn't get it done. They didn't try hard enough. They didn't will it. They didn't desire it. But if somebody wants to accomplish something and do something, miyached your lave, overcome your spirit, raise your spirit, cognitively, spiritually, emotionally, physically, you can get it done. And that's what Yaakov Avinu teaches us, shekocho gadol. Of course, he didn't have natural brute strength. But at this instinct, he unreleased an incredible latent strength that he had in order to get something done. The sheep needed to drink, and the shepherds weren't dealing with it. Of course they could do it if they worked hard. Yaakov Avinu teaches them a lesson and teaches us a lesson. You want to get something done, you can. And that's the pshat in the second pasuk in this week's parsha. When Yaakov Avinu was sleeping on a rock, vayishkav b'makom hahu, he slept in that place. And Rashi tells us that the reason that the Torah is telling us that Yaakov Avinu was sleeping is to teach us that for Yud Dalid Shana, the last 14 years of his life, learning in the Yeshivas Shem Ve'ever, he didn't sleep once. And now, finally, as he emerged from Shem Ve'ever, Vayishkav B'makom Hahu, he finally rested, he slept on a rock. How can that be? 14 years he didn't sleep. Is that feasible? Is that possible? Who is Yaakov Avinu? Is he so strong? Is he so mighty that he doesn't need to sleep? And again explains Reb Chaim Shmulevitz that's Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu willed something. He wanted to get something done. He wanted to accomplish. He wanted to succeed. He will succeed. Miyached leiv, push yourself. Overcome the natural instincts that you have. Overcome nature. You can do it. And Yaakov did it with Yevon. Yaakov did it in Shem Ve'ever. Yaakov does it with his brother Esav, and he does it with his difficult father-in-law Lavan. If you push yourself, you can accomplish. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz explains that that's something we see in life. Often in fires, for example, he says, that if one person can accomplish something that takes multiple people to accomplish in regular time. Because under pressure, under duress, you need to get something done, to jump, to run, to take care of something. At that moment, when everything is coming up against you, there's a fire, there's an aish, you gotta move, you gotta run, you gotta jump. You can do it, you do it. But it's all under pressure that we do that, when we're forced to do it. But when we need to do something, we can do it and we will do it. Yaakov has taught us that. And that's something that exists in each of us. We don't push ourselves enough. But if we want to, we can. And this is something that Yosef HaTzadik, Yaakov Avinu's son, saw by his father and was able to figure out himself as well. Because Yosef HaTzadik also had terrible struggles, difficulties, challenges with his brother, and he finds himself in Mitzrayim and slowly rises to a great position of power. And as he rises to a position of power, it's not so easy either, because Eshes Potiphar, Paro's wife, tries to seduce him. And Yosef is very careful, meticulous, scrupulous, and makes sure that he will never fall prey to the trap of Eshes Potiphar. And he pushes her aside, pushes her away. But one day, the time comes where the challenge will be greatest. Vayhi kayom hazeh. And it was that day. Vayavo habaisa. Yosef enters her house. And according to one opinion in the Gemara, Yosef was ready to sin with Eshes Potiphar. Lasos melachto. He went to do his work. Nobody was home. Everybody was out. Not Paro, not the ministers, nobody. Who would know if Yosef would sin with this beautiful woman? And the Gemara tells us, and Rashi quotes it, that at that moment, he saw an image, a picture of his father. How did that help him? How did the picture of his father help him at the moment of sin? The pshat is that Yosef saw his father. He understood that his father was miyached leiv. He understood that when his father wanted to accomplish something, to do something, under duress, under difficulty, when there were challenges, trials, and tribulations, he pushed himself physically, spiritually, emotionally. He could do it, I could do it. And thus Yosef HaTzadik was able to accomplish something that very few people have been able to do. And thus he receives the title HaTzadik, because Yosef was able to push himself to the nth degree, accomplishing things that many people are unable to do. But we have to realize that we can. We will, and we are able to. Yaakov does it with the Even. Yaakov does it in Shem Ve'ever. Yosef does it with Eshes Potiphar, and the story doesn't end there. We pick up in the beginning of Sefer Shmos, and baby Moshe Rabbeinu is on the Yeor. He's left aside. And Bas Paro, the daughter of Paro, sees this young little baby floating in this wicker basket on the sea. And the pasuk tells us, Vatishlach es Amasa. And Rashi says Amasa means Yada, quoting the Gemara in Sota, Nishtarbev Amma Amos Harbe. Her hand extended many Amos, and she was able to reach out and to grab the wicker basket to take Moshe Rabbeinu and return him to safety. And says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, most people understand that that's a miracle, that Bas Paro's hand extended, and miraculously, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought it back to its regular state. Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, that's not the pshat in Chazal. That's not what Rashi means. That's not what the Gemara in Sota means. She pushed herself. She pushed herself like Yaakov Avinu. She pushed herself like Yosef HaTzadik. She pushed herself like many people have done in fires and in difficult situations, under terror and in duress throughout our history. Basya does it as well, because she wanted to save a child. If you want to save a child, you can, but you need to do something above nature, above all ability. And Basi was able to do it. She extended herself, she extended her arm, grabs him, and brings him back in. And not surprisingly, the impact that has on the life of Moshe Rabbeinu is remarkable. Because Moshe Rabbeinu naturally is a kvad peh, kvad lashon. He lisps. He doesn't have an easy time talking. And imagine telling somebody who lisps that you're going to go redeem the Jewish people from their bondage in Egypt. You're going to go speak to Paro Melech Mitzrayim. You can do it. Moshe Rabbeinu says, me, kvad peh, kvad lashon, I can't accomplish, I can't speak to princes, I can't speak to kings and queens, I can't be a leader who speaks to thousands of people. It can't be. But Moshe Rabbeinu does it. He gets the job done then and throughout the Dor HaMidbar with the challenges that he struggles with the Jewish people. He uplifts himself because he knows that he can do it and he has to do it. Because if you need to get something done, you can. He did it. Basya did it. Yaakov did it. Yosef did it. We all can do it, and that's not it. Because at the end of the Dor HaMidbar, as Bnei Yisrael emerge and are able to conquer and bring themselves together after Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Torah tells us at the end of Sefer Shmos in Parshas Vayakel Vayavo kol ish asher nesa'o libo, that every Jew in the Midbar came across and was able to bring nidavos and beautiful donations to the Mishkan. And the Ramban Nachmanides on the pasuk says, what does it mean, nasa'o libo? Where do they have the energy? Where do they have the strength? Where do they have the capacity to be able to donate to the Mishkan? They weren't craftsmen. They weren't artisans. These were people who were slaves, blue-collar laborers. They didn't know what to do. How do they know how to do woodwork and silversmiths and coppersmiths? And listen to the words of the Ramban. They didn't know how to do this. Nobody taught them. Ella. Matza betivo shiyad lasos kain vayigba libo bedarche Hashem. They uplifted themselves because they knew they had to get something done and they were going to do it. And that's how Klal Yisrael was able to build the Mishkan. Where were the trees? Where was the silver? Where was the copper? How are they going to be able to build and to weave and to create and to fashion this beautiful Mishkan? Vayigba libo bedarche Hashem. They lifted up their souls. They did something that Yaakov did. They did something that Yosef did. They saw this with Moshe Rabbeinu and they were able to do it as well. And thus that's how the Mishkan was built. And fast forward to Chanukah. Habaleinu L'tov in 2 weeks. How could it be that the small, little, minuscule army of Klal Yisrael was able to defeat the mighty and strong Greek-Assyrian army? How is that possible? How is that feasible? Rabin biyad me'atim. The answer is you suit yourself up. You put yourself in a position to do it, and you can do it. Of course we can accomplish. Klal Yisrael band together. They put themselves in a position where they were able to succeed, and they wanted to succeed. And they knew that their ancestors did this. Yaakov did it, and Yosef did it. Moshe did it, and Basia did it. Klal Yisrael did it, and therefore we can do it too. And they fought hard, and they were victorious. That's the nilchama, the battle that they won because they were going to push themselves. Vayigba libo bedarche Hashem. They were willing. They were able to put themselves in a position to do it, and they pushed forward, and they accomplished, and they did. But that's not it, because after the war, the Mikdash was destroyed. It was asunder, and it was a terrible scene. And how are they going to be able to light the menorah? There's no shemen. Where's the pach shemen? They don't give up. They don't say Tumah Hutra B'tzibur, we can light shemen that's tameh, that's impure. They search, they look, and they wander around looking, how can we be able to succeed and bring pure shemen and place into the menorah to light it? Umatsu pach shemen tahora. They find this one pristine, pure piece of oil that they're able to use with the seal of the Kohen Gadol, the Hechsher Atara, and they're able to light the menorah because they worked hard. Vayigba libo, liyichad libam. They pushed themselves and they were able to accomplish because they wanted to get the job done. Each and every single human being can overcome great obstacles and great challenges. Every human being could succeed in enormous ways, more than we can imagine. There is so much latent strength and ability that we have to be able to accomplish and succeed and to reach goals that we don't even realize we can reach. Sometimes it takes pressure. Sometimes it takes a challenge. But we need to recognize that if we use the power that we have within us, just like Yaakov did at the Evan, just like Yaakov did at Shem Ve'ever, just like Yosef did when he was about to sin with Eshes Potiphar, just like Basi was able to extend her hand, just like Moshe Rabbeinu was able to lead Klal Yisrael, and just like Bnei Yisrael built the Mishkan, and just like our ancestors were able to succeed and be able to bring the pure Pach Shemen and to win the miracle of the Milchama, each and every single one of us, you and me, can accomplish as well. We need to know this, we need to believe this. Take a look at Chaim Shmulevitz's Maimer in Sichos Musar Tafshin Lamed Aleph Parshas Beshalach Yichad Leib, where many of the rayas that I discussed are brought there. But let's put our hands together. Let's put our minds together to be able to accomplish, to win, to succeed. And Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, we should be matzliach to accomplish and to do and to fulfill the will of Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos.